In many ways, these two countries are built on the spirit of the Anzac. The Digger, a study in contradictions, fight, the mateship, discipline and larrikinism, and courage. Tough yet compassionate, the best of friends, the worst of enemies. This is the Anzac Test. Australia versus New Zealand on Nine's Friday Night Football.
The fullback tonight, Anthony Minicello. The wingers, Tamana Tahu and Michael De Vere. The centres, Matt Gidley and Brent Tate. The 5'8" and the captain is Darren Lockyer, the halfback Craig Gower. What a pack of forwards. Sean Timmins locks the scrum. Nathan Hindmarsh and Stephen Price, the second rowers. He came in for Petro Sivanasiva. A front rower, Shane Webke, Danny Badiris and Joel Clinton. And off the interchange tonight, Sean Berrigan and Michael Crocker. Plenty of versatility there. Trent Waterhouse and Luke Bailey, their coach, Wayne Bennett. The New Zealanders, it hasn't been a great preparation. Lost both David Bielecki and Ruben Wicke during the week. But when you look at test experience, they're well served.
Yeah, they've got a lot of test experience, Pete, and I tell you what, they have picked a big side. A lot of physical intimidation in this side. Sonny Bill, there, it's his test debut coming off the bench. He could be an X-factor in this.
Well, the size exemplified by their wingers. We've got Leslie Vainikolo, Francis Melly, both 100 kgs. At fullback tonight, Nigel Bunganar. The wingers are Vainikolo and Francis Melly. The centre pairing, Paul Fatawira and Clinton Torby. At 5'8", Sion Faumawina. The halfback under pressure, you would have to say, Thomas Lulawai. The forward pack, David Kidwell comes into the run on side at lock. Tony Pulatua and Joe Nullavow, the second rowers. Jason Kalis, Robbie Paul and Nathan Kalis, he's the captain. And their bench tonight, Jerry Siu, Sonny Bill Williams, Tavita Latu and Stephen Kearney, their coach, Daniel Anderson.
Australia has won 10 consecutive tests against the Kiwis in Australia. Time on. The Anzac Test underway. And a mistake. Allowed to run. No, he's got a call from the touch judge.
Yeah, well, Sean Hempstead missed it, that's for sure. I think there was plenty of Australian players in the way there. He couldn't quite see it. Kalis went to put a boot out, but Vanganar, first touch of the game, knock on. Great start for the Australians.
Why not? Let him in. It's out. Australia with an early opportunity to attack. And Minicello it is who's tackled just inside the 20-metre line. Webke now running off Lockyer. A dominating tackle there by Jason Kalis. The 12 is Stephen Price. A late entry into the Australian side as it goes from Gower. It's out with the lock forward, Timmins. Timmins to play the ball about 8 metres out from the line, a couple of metres in from touch. Now for Gower. Then it's to Lockyer. And they come up on Lockyer very, very quickly. Put him to ground. Gower again. And the kick is a chance. No, it's gone over the touching goal area. And it'll come back to the halfway, or the 20-metre line for the restart.
Yeah, dealt with it well there, did Francis Melly. The kick from Craig Gower a little bit too wide, and he was knocked out and knocked over in the charge by Nathan Kalis. Not a bad thing for the Kiwis to be under early pressure defensively. That'll be a confidence builder to get through that first set of 6 and do so fairly comfortably.
35 metres out from their own line.
Go, Clinton, you're going
penalty goes to New Zealand. And they've taken a very quick tap, and it's Robbie Paul, the number 9, getting it back for his captain, Kalis. 35 metres out from the Australian line now with David Kidwell. Hasn't played for the Kiwis for 4 years. He was a member of the side that was beaten 52-0 in this corresponding match back in 2000, knock on by Faumawina. Andrew Voss, sideline.
We've got a bit of a breeze factor tonight. Breeze at the backs of the Kiwi players for this first half. Had a chat with New Zealand coach Daniel Anderson. Very upbeat about tonight, but did admit pressure on his halves, Thomas Lulawai and Sion Faumawina. They need to come up with solid performances. And he also told me Jason Kalis was given the option of starting from the bench tonight. Jason's answer was no way.
Second scrum of the night, won by the Australians. back inside their 30-metre line. And here's Tate. And Corby coming up to try and put him away. He brushes away from both he and Robbie Paul, and then Robbie Paul goes in again and makes the tackle to Manatahu. Away from his sideline. He's playing on the right side in the first half.
We've got a problem out here, Ray. I think it's Nathan Kalis has stayed down.
It is Peter.
And he looks very sick and sorry, although he's up on his haunches now as Matt Gidley gets out of dummy half over halfway.
Timmins a dummy half. Away on the left for Gow. Gow punches it down into the corner at the northern end for Nigel Vunganar. Shame to see a centre of his calibre forced into the number 1 jumper.
And the trainer attending Nathan Kalis has immediately signalled to the sideline that he's not able to carry on. So you see you're already up, limbering up.
Head clash, brother to brother. Kalis, Inc. That's what happened to Nathan. And the Roosters have had their questions answered because there's Jason Kalis taking it up. They wanted him to come off the bench at about the 15-minute mark. Charge down by Price. The charge down specialist. And the ball going over the sideline for another scrum to pack. Here's a close-up of Nathan.
And Ray, there was a situation again where we've got a man in Nathan Kalis 50 metres from the football. While he's slowly coming to sideline, the Kiwis are without their full complement for something like 3 or 4 tackles on that occasion. Players either got to be stopped or a better system worked out so that they've got all their players out there when needed.
So the Kiwis have started Luluwai at half-back for the scrums anyway. They're losing ground with the ball. Now they steer the ship in the right direction with Falmawina going backwards, getting the ball away for Vunganar, and Vunganar goes straight up the middle and is tackled 30 metres out from his own line. A run here for Vainakolo. Not standing direct.
Good play from the Kiwis. 2 very good offloads there by Torpy, and then Falmawina gained them 30 metres. Quick play of the ball. The Australians not marking up properly. Now they're 40 metres out. Chance to do something.
Robbie Paul now in a dummy half. He'll be all over the park, Paul, the number 9, the Bradford captain. He'll vary. Here's Luluwai opening them up. That's Kidwell. Kidwell's heading for the line. He's over. New Zealand get the first point. David Kidwell has scored. Well, what a celebration for the young man. He's 27 years of age today.
He's been to a few clubs. If we freeze it there, you can see that the outside defender for the Australian team has rushed up too quickly on the Bundy Rum telestrator as play continues. Thomas Luluwai was good enough to slip through, find Kidwell on his right. Great change of direction there to beat Minicello. And Kidwell celebrating a birthday, as Ray points out, been to a few different clubs. Just too quickly on the outside there was Danny Badiris.
It would appear there's been some pretty serious miscommunication there from the Australian defenders as they rushed up, opened up a hole. Luluwai, and this man, he's had quite a few clubs, never really settled in any of those clubs, and that's a great run, beating 2 and 3 to the line. Fantastic start for the Kiwis.
A fantastic start for David Kidwell. I pointed out the last time he played in the Kiwi jumper was a 52-0 loss at the hands of Australia in the Anzac Test of 2000. A weekend to celebrate the Test match. He scores a try and he plays 100 games for Melbourne tomorrow. Australian coach Wayne Bennett, he hasn't been at the helm since 1998. David Kidwell, well done, and the try converted Andrew sideline.
Yeah, and even better work too. The work of Thomas Luluwai. Said Daniel Anderson he wants a solid performance. That was more than solid. That was a young bloke backing himself in running to the line. And Thomas Luluwai playing halfback tonight, that is his preference, to wear the number 7 jumper.
Restart has gone very, very high. It's given the Australians a good chance to get right down the ground. In fact, they make the tackle on Pulatua, that is, I fancy. Just outside the 10-metre line it was, and here's Siu who's on for Nathan Kalis. Tonight you've got a chance to pick up $2,000 in 9 sporting chance competitions. Simply answer this question. Which team will score the most tries in tonight's test match? SMS text your answer to 1889926 and entries close at the end of tonight's broadcast. And there's a solid hit by the Australians, forcing the ball loose, and Clinton has got the ball. That'll be a penalty against CUCU for a flop.
You flopped in.
He read it very well, Sean Timmins. Came in, strong tackle on Sion Faumuina, put down a couple of balls to 5'8". And now the Australians looking to capitalise. It was so important for the Kiwis there to come up with a mistake-free set after scoring.
Concern in back play for Shane Webke as Price now plays the ball back for Badeiras, and then Clinton goes into them sideways. Joel playing the ball now back for Badeiras, and there's Webke putting it down. The knock-on will see the scrum go down about 15 metres out from the New Zealand line. 6-0 the score. Kidwell racking up a try. Luluwai later together.
Keep yourself straight, Kiwis.
Second youngest New Zealander to wear the black and whites, Luluwai. It was an easy one, really. He was entitled to catch that, the big front row. That's Fatawira, the Penrith centre, or bench player these days. You'll see Vainikolo do this a lot. Loves to come away from dummy half, and he mainly operates from midfield. This is Faumuina, and he's arrested there by Timmins just beyond the 30-metre line. CUCU. Very early entry into the game for the Warrior. 2 forwards on the bench for the Warriors. 4 only in the run-on side. They were all backs. Succinctly, that probably is the answer to the Warriors' problems. Their forwards not wanted, really, by the national selectors. Now, Minicello. Had a brilliant day here last Sunday. And they play the ball under a dominant tackle 20 metres out from his own line for Michael De Vere to succumb to that tackle from CUCU. His tape. Now, that might be a penalty. It's not. I thought he might have penalised CUCU for not standing directly in front of the man playing the ball. Here's Clinton. Converted try to New Zealand in the early part of this game. If you've only just joined us, it comes as a shock, I guess, to everybody, particularly the bookmakers. Here's Gower. Good pass by Webke. Now Minicello. He's heading for the corner. One to beat. Throws the dummy. Goes himself. Gets it over the line. And there he goes again. Anthony Minicello scores for Australia. What a ball. What a ball from Webke, I fancy it was.
It was a great ball from Shane Webke. Attracted a couple of defenders and was able to get the right arm free. 3 in the tackle. And Webke, the offload. Now, Anthony Minicello needed to score this try because he had an unmarked player on the inside. There he is, summing up the situation, Craig Gower. The pass was line ball, but it's okay. Now, have a look. I think it's Darren Lockyer to his right, completely unmarked, was going in under the posts. But Minicello opted to take on Vangana and had enough strength to cross out wide. The Australians hit back.
Yeah, great try started by Webke. I'm pretty sure he did something similar in a test match last season. And he popped up a couple of miracle balls for a couple of tries. And Vangana, I think he showed, obviously it's his first game as fullback, a lot of inexperience there. He should have attacked the man with the ball at some stage. He just gave him far too much latitude. And by the time he actually got to him, he only had about 3 metres to run. Beat Vangana easily. And the Australians hit back very, very well.
He made his test debut last year. Anthony Minicello, one of the modern game's great crowd pleasers. And now Michael De Vere from the sideline, almost on the 20-metre line, bringing it back. I don't think it's coming around quickly enough. So the try is unconverted. New Zealand by 2 at the 13th minute. And we welcome our audiences taking us from outside Australia and of course at Fox here in Australia, the test match for Bundy Rum, the Anzac test. for the score in favour of the black and whites.
Right, Phil, stay on the kicker.
We bring you back to Friday night football. You're watching the test match. And Clinton goes charging back with an enthusiastic run. Repke with a tape around the head now. I said to you earlier that there was some concern over him. He must have just opened something up there. Now the Dearest away for Stephen Price. Brother-in-law of the centre, Brent Tate. And now Hindmarsh used as a link player. And then Lockyer loses the ball and Vainicolo is tackled by Timmins and Lockyer. They're 40 metres out from the line. David Kidwell in that number 19 jumper.
It's a very unusual mistake so far tonight. Darren Lockyer hit his own leg with the football in the process of passing it. See you. Centre field, 32 out.
Thomas Luluwai, and that's Joe Nullivale. He will play the ball 25 out on the western side, then Luluwai, he cuts out Siu. It's gone over to Falmawina, now it's back to Pulatua, and Pulatua, he's got up to the 10-metre line. Robbie Paul is hammered in a tackle by Baderas, and Robbie Paul is unconscious.
It's been a great tackle by Baderas. Paul laying prone on the ground.
Nice work here by Pulatua to step through the Clinton tackle and see the number 9. He's one of the great support players in World Rugby League. Now where's Danny Baderas come from? Oh yes, it's just a crunch. 9 on 9. And the ball coming loose.
Latu goes on.
Right, on your zero tackle. Right.
Zero tackle Australia. Clinton with some hard yards. Out from his own try line really. Repke backs him up. Rooming together apparently, Repke and Clinton, and this is a penalty.
I called held and you dragged him over.
Sorry Ray, that's a tough call. Shane Repke was still moving. He was still looking to go forward there. He's still wrestling.
That's a ridiculous penalty. The tackle had not been completed, despite what the referee thought.
Yeah, well, he's claiming in defence of Hampson, he's claiming that he called held, and once he does that, the tackle is completed. You are to pull out of something like that, though. They're not exactly fairies, are they? Gower hits Lockyer with a beautiful ball. And he's tackled just outside the 20-metre line. Baderas finds Gower. Gower takes it up to the 10, throwing dummies left, right and centre. Plays it back for Baderas now. And then to Lockyer. Repke's with him. Lockyer tries to go through himself. And Siu takes him down, but it's Baderas who gets it away to Minicello. Steps off his right foot. New Zealand coming up out on the left side, turning them back in. Baderas gets it away. Gower puts a kick in. Picked up by Falmawina and tackled by Gower.
Well, the Kiwis can thank a great tackle from Paul Fadawira on Darren Lockyer that saved the try there. The initial break made by Lockyer as Vainicolo explodes the centre.
From their own line as Kidwell makes another 8 metres. A bit of a hammering there from my fancy his Penrith teammate. Well, that was rapid fire. Good work there by Vangenaar. Now Australia make the mistake playing at the football.
Some of the mistakes tonight. It's unbelievable. Mistakes made by players who would not come up with one of these in 5 seasons. Great work from Vangenaar to realise it wouldn't have been played up by the Australians, so it was play on. Minicello.
The first kick, well, that didn't work. I'll try again. And this one does work. Mistake from the Aussies, and it's the Kiwis attacking only 10 metres out, and they look all right with the footy in their hands. Some good angle running from both Pulatua and Nullivale. they've looked pretty strong out there, the back row boys from Penrith.
So they win this scrum. They're 20 metres out. They're only 15 out. Francis Melly getting involved. Vainakolo will be hard to stop. And he floats over. That's their second try. Vainakolo. Hempstead pointing to the spot. It is 10-4 in favour of the Kiwis.
And it's the two wingers, the big wingers, both at least 100 kilograms, getting involved in this backline movement. First, Francis Melly coming into first receiver, the wide ball, attracting defenders. It came from the mistake, Anthony Minicello. You will not see that again this season. The wide pass now to Francis Melly, who goes across field. And as we freeze it there, you can see that the outside Australians are starting to get a little bit interested. Look at the space down the outside for Leslie Vainakolo. Melly goes in behind, draws a couple of defenders, turns Tamana Tahu around, and then one-on-one. He's a strong man, Tamana Tahu, but never going to stop a hulking frame of the winger coming his way.
Yeah, the Australians never really marked up there. I'm not sure why there was so much space given to this man. And Tamana Tahu looked up and he went, oh no, how am I going to control this bloke? And he couldn't. I don't think anyone in the world could. What is he, about 18 stone? 6 foot, bang, crash, wallop, over he goes.
So the volcano has exploded. I tell you what, he's been as good a player as there has been on the park, not just because he scored a try, but he's been doing some great work. Dummy half running from off his own red zone. This is Faumuina from 22 metres out and on the eastern side, the new terrace seating side of the game. It was opened last Sunday. Faumuina strikes it, but it's way out in front. So the try goes unconverted, but the Kiwis 2 tries to 1 lead, 10-4. A quarter of the test is gone.
Lead the Phillips Kangaroos 4. It is the Bundaberg World Test match right here at Energy Australia Stadium.
Friday night football on the 9 network. You're watching the test match between the Trans-Tasman nations. Vainakolo, who scored the try, taking a hammering over there. Bundy Rum test match coming to you from Newcastle tonight. A test match against Australia-Fiji back in, I think it was 95. But most people are of the opinion that this is their first test match. And I think we might go that way. Kearney is on. Just inside the 30 line. 10-4, 2 tries to 1. This man got one of the tries, David Kidwell. That's not a knock-on. It is back with Faumuina, 10-4, New Zealand. Peter.
Making that tackle, Luke Bailey also into the action now. A just reward for Shane Webke, going to the bench after a great 20 minutes. Vangana, well, that's out on the full.
Nigel would be hoping that one rebounded. Daniel Anderson not happy.
I'm not sure why Vangana is the go-to man on the kicks. He plays centre for his clubs, Canterbury and now Cronulla. And he's probably never kicked in his life, and all of a sudden they're throwing in the ball to kick. It's a strange situation.
Yeah, it's got to be Thomas Lilloy, doesn't it, Paul? He's got to take control there.
There's a big body clash between Hindmarsh and Pulatua. And that player hurt Pulatua. Here's Gower. Now Lockyer. And Lockyer tries to split through, but he's pulled down 5 metres out from the line. His Brisbane teammate, Tate, giving an awful ball to Gower, but Gower takes the ball, then he's tackled by his teammate, Tony Pulatua. Over it goes now for the 17, Luke Bailey from the Dragons. 5 tackles gone now against the Kangaroos, the Phillips Kangaroos. Now for Gower. Back it comes for Lockyer. Puts a little kick in, Tate is after it, nearly wins the race. And it'll be a line dropout. I think we will see many more of these in the course of this test match.
A measured kick there from Darren Lockyer. Summed up the situation. Dribbled the ball through. Francis Melly had dropped back reading that. And once he's tackled, he throws the football away and the referee has signalled time out to make sure that the time wasting doesn't count.
It's a muggy night here.
Right, Phil, stay on the kick.
Newcastle, they've had some unbelievable weather here through Easter and onto this Anzac weekend. It's quite hot actually. 10-4 as we bring you back. As the line drop out and Clinton.
Go on, let him go. Hands off now, let him up. Come on, Kiwis.
30 out from the line. Now it's with Bailey.
We saw more movement on the Australian bench with Michael Crocker coming to the sideline. Interesting to see where he slots in.
Replacement player for the Phillips Kangaroos is number 15.
Drifting across towards Timmins, who
Let him up now, move it.
offered him an inside ball. Running the
Replacement
angle.
number 10.
Third change has been made by the Kiwis. As Stephen Price tries to surge ahead, and then he gets the ball away. Danny Badiris couldn't get a catch on it. Now he's able to pick it up and fire it off to Gower. Gower gets the ball away to Michael Crocker, and he's tackled.
Let him go now, let him go.
8 metres out from the line. Australia with a good chance for their second try. Timmins into touch.
That's good defence there from the Kiwis on Sean Timmins, because he's very dangerous close to the line. He's very, very strong. Good leg power, strong up top as well, but it took 3 of them to put him into touch, even with the Australians trying to keep him in, Tate and De Vere.
It wasn't a particularly good decision to go that way by the Australians. The opposition had more numbers there. Timmins going sideways, the momentum always towards the sideline.
Yeah, you didn't make a mistake movement. Yeah, I know. Right, Phyllis.
Kiwis have got the loose head and feed. Sonny Bill Williams about to come into the game in 15. He'll be the 3rd youngest Kiwi ever. Andrew Voss sideline.
And plenty of life on the New Zealand bench at the moment. Robbie Paul, they're getting a little bit of attention to a leg injury as well, but he has been doing some limbering up. Likewise, Nathan Kalis. Michael Crocker on in the back row for the Australians, with Stephen Price moving up to the front row.
Pulatua.
Let him up now, let him up.
35 out from his own line. Latu is the dummy half. And the 15 is Sonny Bill Williams. No relation to Dennis Williams, the youngest Kiwi ever. David Kidwell, 62 metres gain off limited opportunities. It's been a big effort by the try scorer. And Minicello takes a buffeting back there on his own 20-metre line. No beg pardons from Kearney and Kidwell, the 2 Melbourne Storm players. Gowan for Hindmarsh. Hindmarsh is pulled down by Kidwell and Kearney again. Tate away from dummy half and away from Stephen Kearney, and he ran through Tony Pulatua. He's pulled down eventually by Latu. Tate struggles to play the ball, does so. Timmins runs it, and he's picked up by one leg by Torpy and thrown to the ground. Then Badiris, and the way it goes to Gidley. Gidley kicks ahead. Tahu leads the race. Oh, they've got a magnificent bounce, and Tahu sprints away the final 30 metres. You won't get a bounce like that again, Commander. What a kick from Gidley. It has set up just when he wanted it to. They are magical to watch. But this is amazing.
Great vision here by Danny Badiris as well. He goes the blind side on the last, and as we freeze it there, you can see that there's only the winger, Leslie Vainikalo, and the 2 men coming in the shape of Gidley and Tahu. And as play continues on the Bundy Rum telestrator, I'm surprised Gidley didn't pass. Tamana Tahu had space outside Vainikalo, but the kick was superb.
Yeah, well done by Badiris, because the outside backs there had marked up in Torpy and Falmawina to leave the winger on his pat. And this combination, Gidley and Tahu, it's one of the best in rugby league. If it's not backward passes and flick passes, it's little chips. Very popular in front of their home crowd, the Newcastle duo.
Well, it was an all Newcastle try, really. Fantastic work by the 3 of them.
He's just one of those players that can get over the try line, isn't he? Tamana Tahu's got a great strike rate, the amount of games he plays.
Here's De Vere with the attempted conversion. This looks okay. Sails between the big sticks. The Kangaroos draw level with the Kiwis after 26 minutes. Andrew.
Haven't the Nova Castrians come alive with that try when one of their own sets it up for another one of their own, Tamana Tahu. Serlo's right about his strike rate. 3rd test tonight, that's his 3rd test try. Origin, he's got 4 tries in 6 games, and of course his first class record, his first grade record, Tamana Tahu, 78 tries in 94 games. He really is a specialist at finding his way to the try line.
Well, it was picture perfect. Everything was just on cue for the 3 Newcastle Knights playing in front of a capacity crowd. A crowd that I honestly thought was going to be disappointing at about 6:30. And then all of a sudden they came from nowhere. This rugby league hungry Newcastle. And then their 3 stars have laid it together for them. Nice moment for the locals. Gower. Now Bailey. Price. And again Bailey. Clinton back on the bench, and there's a count on him. 8 hit ups for 61. Middle of the ground, 30 out from their own line. Here goes Badiris again. I wonder whether or not Kidwell was told by the referee to stay out of it there. He shaped the tackle, then pulled away from it. As Lockyer gets a kick in, it's not a bad looker. From inside the 40.
The referee signalled, he said, inside the 40. I don't know if there's much they could do about it.
Now the Australians clap, they applaud Darren Lockyer, who had 2 Kiwis hunting him down as he went to put this kick in, just gets it away, and it's just the best you'd ever see.
Well, this is a very important time for New Zealand. They've led most of the game. We've now got a scoreline tied up.
Yeah, Pete, this is where sometimes in the past they've sort of collapsed and, oh, well, you know, we've put up a fight for 20 minutes. That's the best we can do. This is where they've got to lift.
Minicello in from the back. Got the first Australian try. Tahu the second. We are locked up at 10-all with Bailey. Pulled down by Nulliver and by Kidwell. Kidwell's worked hard. Badiris working with Gower now. That's where they are. 12 metres out from the line. Running towards the northern end as Lockyer loses control. Picked up by David Kidwell just beyond his 10-metre line.
I don't think there's been a better play for New Zealand tonight than David Kidwell. Came into the lock forward position to run onside. This is a relieving penalty for the Kiwis. They'll be happy with that.
And great work there from Sonny Bill Williams, because when the Kiwis got that ball back after having defended for quite a while, 5 or 6 of their forwards went down on their haunches. Sonny Bill Williams sprinted back into position to bring that ball back. He's the youngest out there, and I think a few of the Kiwis might have looked at him and said, well, if he can do that, we've got to follow suit. Shocking kick from Luluai. Yeah, there it was. He got back. There was 4 or 5 of them on their haunches. Come on, who's going to take it up? Well, the kid did, and the kid got them a penalty.
Oh, what a great shot there from the crossbar. Yeah, look at what it's like going towards the defensive line. Big tackle here by the Australians.
That man again, David Kidwell. It's Latu, almost to the halfway. Pulatua trying to break through just on the fringe. Crocker and Price making the tackle. Luluai. Andy Williams. It's been a rise for Sonny Bill, hasn't it? On the 5th tackle now. It's gone away to Thomas Luluai, and his kick. What's it going to do? Bouncing away towards the dead ball line. Now it stops. Minicello brings it back. That's a brilliant piece of work by Minicello. He thought he had a dead ball. He had to put himself into reverse mode.
A lack of urgency there from the chasers. Clinton Chalpy went down on his own. They got the right bounce, the New Zealanders. If they had a little bit of help, they might have been able to corral Anthony Minicello, but what a great ball runner he is.
I think the bounce of the ball probably fooled New Zealand more than it did Minicello. Timmins now, right in the centre of the park. It was quite loose here on Sunday. I haven't seen too much evidence of it tonight as Lockyer gets the ball away to Kroger. He gets it on, and it is Tate who's tackled, loses the ball. Bunganar is with it. He'll play the original breach. Lockyer making the incision.
A great ball here to Michael Crocker, who's had an impact coming off the bench, and a try-saving tackle here from Francis Melly. Crocker on to Tate. Nelly comes in, knocks the football clear. And the New Zealanders need half-time. They are looking very tired with 8 minutes to go until the break.
Nicole. Falmawina off to Williams. And Williams will play the ball on the 30-metre line. I'm just trying to find out exactly how many minutes Jason Kalis gave them before they pulled him off. Penalty's gone to New Zealand. That's been very accommodating for them through this match. Jason Kalis on the sidelines, about to come on as we watch the replay of the reason the penalty was given.
Back onto the field for New Zealand is number 8, Jason Kalis.
Here's Kearney.
He replaces number 11, Tony Brooks.
Blindside, and Torpy is tackled. Just outside the 30-metre line, Latu, now Jason Kalis back into the game and refusing to go down. It's a very strong run. 20 metres out from the Australian line, Latu, Luluwa. Gears over the top and Crocker underneath. A two-man tackle and he loses the ball.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where he was in a hurry to play the football, never got to his feet properly, and the mistake came. That was the second tackle of a brand new set of 6, only 20 metres out. That was a great opportunity to maybe sneak a little lead before half-time.
Gower. Tate. He's tackled by Williams in the 15 jumper, bringing Tate to ground. Now Webke winds it up and takes it outside the 30-metre line. About 15 in from that eastern touchline. Crocker. Williams hit him hard. Crocker was down, bounced up again. Falmawina eventually making the tackle. Gower cross for Lockyer and then for Minicello, and Minicello gives it to Tate, who tries to go away from the sideline and manages to do that. Here's De Vere pursued and pulled down by Whareira. Play back for Lockyer to give it away to Gower, and Gower kicks on the 40-metre line. It's just going to go in touch in goal, so it'll come back to the 20 for the restart. Gower, the kicker, and accommodating that number 7 Australian jumper. I would imagine very proudly. 10-10 the score. New Zealand, the first team to score. Nicolo, just outside the 20-metre line as they put together a short side play. That is Joe Nullavow. Andrew Voss, sideline.
Yeah, and I think the effort and the commitment of the Kiwis is reflected in that man, Joe Nullavow, tonight. Now, at Penrith, he'd normally come off around about 20-25 minutes. Looks like he's going to play the entire half. To be honest, I can't remember a game of football where Joe Nullavow has played an uninterrupted 40 minutes, so he's really putting in tonight.
Good passing. Now it is Corpy down inside the 20. Still going. They eventually arrive to put him down.
He's bombed it there, Ray. He had support. They still might score. Australians are back.
Falmawina, the ball goes over the line, but I think you'll find it's gone forward.
He's knocked on all right, Falmawina, but Clinton Torpy has slaughtered this one. Great work there from Sonny Bill Williams to offload Torpy. He got a hat-trick against the Aussies last test. But look at the inside. He's got Luluwai unmarked, and on the far side, Nicolo still calling for the football. Pass the ball.
Turn it up. What happened there? You can interpret that any way you want, but it's a dead set butcher. I don't know about the man back on the inside, but the two on the outside were screaming for it. Falmawina and Nicolo. Any one of those, it's try time. There's the lead they needed before half time. Oh, tragedy.
Gidley. Got through the tackle of Jason Kalis to be wrapped up by Kidwell.
And it would be just like an Australian team to make them pay for that, possibly the next 3.5 minutes.
caught one a bit high.
Yeah, well, that was just a slap, but you slapped him. Keep them down, right?
Penalty Australia against Latu. So Australia will come away from their 30 metre. Here's the replay of the slap over the face from Latu. He made that point to referee Hampstead, who said, yes, I know it was only a slap, but keep them down. Very innocuous. The whole thing, really. Now it's away for Cal. Minicello, Timmins into the back line. Comes back. Hindmarsh and Timmins, they combine. Timmins has now run out of Australian troops and he's tackled. Put down eventually by Joe Nullavow. And they're 20 metres, 18 metres out from the line. Webke. Fifina. Buderas. Gower. Gower across to Lockyer. Second man play. It would have gone forward off the hands of Minicello, I fancy. And that's the way Hampstead has ruled.
I suppose the handling errors tonight are a result of the fact that these teams have only had, 4 days to prepare. Haven't played with each other very much at all. And, some passes going astray, lots of drop balls out there tonight. It's quite warm and humid, as Ray said before. So the ball is quite slippery. Stephen Kearney there. He's been pretty good, the veteran, I think, playing in his 45th test. A couple of times he's made 3 tackles in a row. He's trying to lift his side. Torpy on the haunches. The boys are desperate. I think both sides now desperate for half-time. They all need a rest.
I don't think Wayne Bennett will have missed that. Quinton Torpy is looking to come in. On that occasion, if the ball had have gone to hand, they had a 2-man overlap, the Australians. They'll work on that second half.
Holden half-time coming up in just a little while from now with about 1 minute and 3/4 to the break. Gus Gould and Andrew Voss with Holden half-time. And a look at Darren Lockyer on player cam. David Kidwell, 81 metres off 7 hitter. Here is Vanganar. Latu, up the middle. No markers at all. Latu plays it on the halfway line. Tackle 5. A hesitant fullback gets the kick in from dummy half. And the scrum will go down about 35 metres away from the Australian line. 10-all the score. Daniel Anderson's team scoring first. And certainly should have had a third try on the board only a matter of 2 minutes ago. Tate. Fatarura who makes the tackle with Sonny Bill. Then Badira. Now Webke. Bumping away from Kidwell, but is taken to ground by Clinton Torpy and Stephen Kearney. Badiras offloading for Luke Bailey now. Jason Careless is there. Latu is in there as well, and so too Williams. As Badiras now gets the call from Gower, and Gower turns it back on the inside to Hindmarsh. He's brought down just on the New Zealand side of halfway. Here's Badiras running and fending away and giving it back to Gower. Gower puts on a flick pass. It came off okay eventually. Tate back for Timmins. Timmins will play it on tackle 5. 33 out. They're going for the drop goal. Lockyer from long range, 40 metres out. It looks okay. It's a 1-pointer. Darren Lockyer right on half-time from the 40-metre line. So 11-10 at the I think a perfect example of wearing the national jumper and what it can do to you is the performance in the first half of David Kidwell. He typifies what it must be like to just pull on the national colours.
Yeah, great performance by Kidwell. I see Sean Berrigan gets a start. He's out playing, I believe he's playing left centre. He's taken Matt Gidley's spot.
So Falmawina takes us into the second half. Australia leading 11-10 per medium of a field goal. Right on half-time from Darren Lockyer. Webke tackled back on the 20-metre line. We'll just try and
I see Gidley.
What they've done with this team.
Yeah, Gidley's still out there playing in his right centre. It looks like Brent Tate might be playing in the right wing, so I think it might be Tahu that's out at the moment. So Berrigan playing left centre.
Yeah, kicking from inside his 40, and it's bouncing down to the 10-metre line, where Nigel Vangana gets an ordinary bounce, and now he's headed for the ground under the tackle there of Timmins and Gidley. A good chase down that right side. Here's Vainicolo, and Gidley reacted quickly when he saw Leslie Vainicolo about to get away from dummy half. He's been very strong. He's been a problem for the Australians. The Bradford winger, former Canberra Raider, Sonny Bill Williams, came into the game about 10 minutes from half-time. He's already done plenty of work. Good stuff. This is Joe Nullival.
Yeah, the raps are right on Sonny Bill Williams. He's something very special. Middle line. Goes from left to right. Finds Minicello. He gets a good bounce on his 20-metre line.
Minicello had a checkered first half. He scored the first Australian try. Then he bombed a kick down the ground to him. And from the ensuing scrum, New Zealand were able to score a try. So the Eastern Suburbs, or Roosters fullback, as I said, he had a topsy-turvy first half. There's Berrigan, his first touch of the football. Andrew Voss sideline.
Yeah, and the reason for that backline reshuffle, it's a hamstring injury for Tamana Tahu. He did suffer it a few weeks back against Parramatta. Let's watch this rush down the right side. Yeah, Tamana Tahu is out for the night. The Knights playing Canberra this weekend, won't be able to back up for that match either.
So Lockyer goes across with two passes to the middle. Gower finds Bailey. And Luke Bailey it is. Gower gets a call from Lockyer, puts a kick in. The fullback Vangana is there to put it dead.
That's a good play there from the Australians, no doubt about it. With a new combination down this right-hand side. Nice cutout. Decoy by Crocker, and it's Tate. These two will swap around, it looks like, Gidley and Tate. One will play wing and one will play centre. They'll swap around, and then Locker at the end of it. As usual, the perfect kick by him. So that just leaves Trent Waterhouse, the only player of the 34 tonight who hasn't got a start yet.
Falmawina. The line drop out, but hasn't got a lot of distance in it. It's marked on the 30-metre line by Gower. And Bailey goes charging back down the centre. He's met there by Latu. And another, which is Stephen Kearney. Australia then with Webke trying to keep it going. He got away from Latu. Passed the ball to Gower. Gower slips away from one. Stands in another, but then goes down under the tackle of Nullival. Here's Badiris giving it back to Bailey. Bailey tackle 2 metres from the line.
Short this way, the New Zealand defence. 3 players, but they've gone the other side through Gower.
Gower with a high march decoy. He finds Lockyer, and Lockyer will play the ball. Very close to the line. As you can see, just a metre in it. Now it's back for Gower again. He comes across the 10-metre line and gives the ball to Michael Crocker. Right in front of the uprights. 5 tackles gone for the green and gold. Now it's to Gower. He stops and puts a kick in. It's been intercepted by Corby. Corby making a long run. Support coming. Vainicolo down the left side. What a great tackle by Brent Tate. Tate rounded him up. Took him in a touch.
That is a magnificent tackle by Brent Tate. He's obviously stronger than he looks. It's a play gone wrong from the Aussies. Torpy picks it up, and you would have thought after you beat that one he might have the speed. He looked on the outside to find his winger. This is a great tackle. 5 metres in from touch and smashes him over. Very good.
I was wondering how they were going to get the ball off Clinton Torpy.
Exactly, yeah. I thought he might have been able to get away, but Tate, who has come back remarkably from injury, he's only had a couple of games under his belt this season, and he's just looking better week by week.
For the Australians with an 11-10 lead, in possession on the halfway line through Sean Timmins. Now Sean Berrigan to the 40-metre line. Ball played back to Badiris, this cagey dummy half. He's created some problems for them. Webke for Hindmarsh. Hindmarsh is down near the 20-metre line. Eastern side of Energy Australia Stadium. Back for Gower, then for Lockyer. And Timmins runs a decoy. Minicello comes into the back line. Oh, what a horror ball. What a horror pass.
It wasn't his best, was it? Have a look at it from the try line. Plenty of second man plays there. Bailey, Timmins, trying to create the overlap. That's our crossbar cam you're viewing the action from. And it's another good side of the ball going wide. That's what the Aussies are trying to do. They're trying to make the New Zealanders make mistakes in defensive selection. There was a little bit of space there, but the pass was wayward.
That pass, Benningham nearly found its way to Dubbo. It was that wide.
The Kiwis coming up with a scrum on the back of another Australian mistake. Nulliver hammered but got the ball away. Vanganov pulled down by Gower and Hindmarsh. Ball play back to Latu. A couple of dummy halves there. Jason Kalis makes the run for Kiwis. Nulliver heads for the sideline and Pulatua will come on. Kearney back now for Falmarina. He's able to brush Darren Lockyer away and then he struggles and loses the ball. And Webke it is who comes up with the ball but also comes up with a strong tackle.
And a great sight for New Zealand. Nathan Kalis back out there now as the tackle is restarted.
One dominant tackle! Lost his legs!
Nathan Kalis is back. And we did know Bobby Paul doing some exercises at half-time. He was being checked out by one of the trainers. Here's Gower. Short ball for Timmins. And that defence on the left side for New Zealand holding under the tackle of Pulatua. Then for Gower. Floats the ball out. He hits Crocker with it. And then it's Berrigan who's tackled. 10 metres out from the line. They come back to the open side. And it's with Lockyer again. He puts a little grubber kick in. It'll be too big. And it'll come out to the 20 for the restart. We'll take a break. Back in a moment. 11-10 the Kangaroos lead. Bundy Rum Test match coming to you from Newcastle tonight. Australia leading 11-10. Exclusive to the 9 Network. And thank you for joining us. It's a lot closer than most people expected. Almost impossible to find somebody prepared to tip the New Zealanders. They're doing fine though. Kearney is tackled near halfway. I mentioned the odds earlier tonight on Sportscat. 5.50 for New Zealanders. $1.12 the Australian. Off the bat, that is. Lulawai running out to Sonny Bill, then back to Lulawai. The two youngsters got together there, the 18-year-old. And Fadawira's got a penalty.
He didn't lose it, you stole it. Wait on.
Stolen the play the ball, but the work there from Sonny Bill Williams, since he's been on, he has been their best player, no doubt about it. I mean, he was crunched, and I mean crunched in a tackle, and still offloaded. A fantastic ball.
Now Nathan Kalis, who was knocked foul very early in the test match. Head collision, believe it or not, with his brother. Lulawai turns it inside for Williams. The ball goes to ground. He'll play the knock on.
Well, that's an inside ball that was really telegraphed, really set up. And on that occasion, Williams just couldn't control it.
Yeah, I'd be having a look at Luke Bailey and Shane Webke as I was receiving the football in that situation as well.
Stand up, Phil, stand up. Right, lock it in, down we go. Locks are in, second row's in.
I mentioned the fact that Trent Waterhouse hadn't been into the game, or he's about to be. In a moment for the young man. Did a great job on the Kangaroo tour at the end of last season, a rapid rise for him. It's about to continue as Nathan Hindmarsh straightens, keeps the legs pumping, gets a good offload there. The beer tackle.
And again in the action with Williams. Now it's away from Michael Crocker and he's pulled down by Pulatua and Latu. 6 changes Australia, 7 changes New Zealand.
Replacement players.
Bailey up to the 40-metre line. Plays it back to Gower. Puts a kick in right on the 40-metre line. And it's going down towards the try line. No chance of finding touch for Vainikolo to bring it back. And he comes back to Tate and then offloads for Torpy. Torpy goes in and away from the sideline. Now been pulled down by Trent Waterhouse, wearing jumper number 16, so the full complement has seen a part of this Anzac test. Falmawina tries to do it himself. 35 metres out from his line. Latu tries to get them going. Kalis joins in. And he's tackled just short of halfway. Play aim is in the centre of the ground, as you can see. Now it's away for Tony Pulatua. And they've made some good metres here. 5 tackles gone. To Luluwai's boot. And he keeps it on the ground. It goes down to Minicello, who gets a little guard from De Vere before being tackled by Latu. Their third string hooker, really, Latu, or if you include Robbie Paul, their fourth string. And I'll tell you what, he's got through a heap of work, Latu. When you consider the fact that Marta's gone, Beetham's gone, and Robbie Paul is gone. Shane Webke, 94 metres off 12 hitter. Waterhouse. Now from Lockyer, hits Gibbler perfectly. He gives it to Tate. The race is on, and he beats Torpy, all ends up, and goes all the way. Brent Tate scores. Saved a try earlier with a brilliant tackle. Now he scores a try down the same touchline.
And the Bundy Rum Telestrator will show us that this is where the Australians can have success. This side defensively, this time it's Falmawina. Play comes, he frees it there. You see that these players have come in and the man on the outside is going to run into the hole, and as play continues, Falmawina just gets caught in no man's land. He gets no one, creates an overlap, and Brent Tate, probably the quickest player on the field I think tonight. He's able to beat Clinton Torpy. Nigel Vunganar was actually staying in field to stay with the supporting player in Lockyer. But this is where the Australians can have success, and they've had some there.
Yeah, once again, it's a perfectly timed pass as well by Matthew Gidley. And Torpy, almost in attempting to make this tackle, gives him a bit of a nudge and makes him go faster. And Nigel Vunganar, once again, as we mentioned, first time playing fullback, arrives there too late. Is that the try that might crack open this New Zealand defence and see Australia really kick on now? De Vere from out wide, no, waved away.
15-10 there at the 53rd minute. Andrew Voss sideline.
Brent Tate putting together a nice little highlights package against the Kiwis. He got 2 tries against them last year in that July test, and now tonight just a smashing tackle on Leslie Vainikolo earlier in this half, one of the highlights of the match. And now this runaway try. You've got to remember too, it was the left shoulder that caused him all the problems. So he's got the fend out here. He didn't have to do a whole lot of work in the finish, but Brent Tate back to his best. And as I say, having a great night out against the Kiwis.
I reckon Brent Tate's fairly happy he's playing on this side of the field, because it was Francis Melly who crunched him and gave him those shoulder problems.
Falmawina takes us into the next stage of the Anzac test. The Bundy Rum test match from Newcastle tonight.
Him going round the head there. Penalty. Made a second movement to go round the head. Cut it out.
Penalty against the Kiwis. Second man in the tackle, down around the head. The grapple, if you like. And it is a Melbourne play. So the tap taken by Australia. And Price is 35 metres out from the line. 10 in from touch on the eastern side of the ground. Oh, Linton.
And again, it was Kearney who took him head on. He's going to run in like that. The New Zealanders won't back off. Badiris finds Berrigan.
Sean Berrigan on at half-time. He's playing left side centre. They go to the blind. Badiris uses Hindmarsh. Can he get the ball away? He might not have to. Hindmarsh looking at the try line. Now to play the ball. They've numbered up on the blind, so they come open. Gower for Lockyer. Back behind Waterhouse. Minicello. He comes to the defensive line. 10 metres out. Tackle against the Australian. Crocker. Long ball. Finding Gower. Puts a little kick in. Lockyer scores. Was he onside? Point to the spot. No question.
unhappy night for Nigel Vunganar. He just misses that one completely, set up by a wonderful charge from Nathan Hindmarsh. Getting better as this test goes on, the Parramatta second rower. Great upper body strength, he keeps the legs pumping, goes through Thomas Lulawai, comes up against Mel, he pushes him away and gets awfully close to scoring. And a couple of rucks later we see Frey Gow put the kick through. Vunganar did play in the test match in October last year, but he's only had one game back at NRL level. Darren Lockyer ruled to have been exactly alongside the kicker. It was just an air swing.
Yeah, you're right about Nathan Hindmarsh. He didn't get into the game in the first half, but he's probably threatening to crack open the defence in the second half. And on that occasion, Vunganar was in position to get that one, but he missed it.
Michael Devere didn't miss it. 21-10, the Kangaroos lead the Kiwis after 56 minutes.
Rugby League Test match right here at Energy Australia Stadium.
Friday night football tonight out of Newcastle, the test match. 21-10 Australia. New Zealand has been very competitive. It's only in the last 10, he's lost the ball inside his own 20. Chance here for the Kiwis. It's Clinton who's made the mistake. Shoulder from Kidwell.
I'm not sure whether you want to actually pick players out to run out in this New Zealand defence. I think you've got to run between players where possible.
Vunganar there, up from fullback and working as a 5'8" on that occasion. He plays it in Whareroa passes to Falmarina. And he's tackled 10 metres away from the line. As Latu goes into dummy half. Play over here on the western side of Energy Australia Stadium, and now it's Pulatua who's tackled 9 metres out from those goalposts. 21-10, and Kidwell. But I thought he was away for his second try. Tackled by Gow. Bad play the ball. Latu and Lulawai, and Australia's got the ball. That was quick reaction from Hindmarsh.
It was a poor time to kick from Thomas Lulawai. It wasn't the last tackle. The defence were in his face. It was always going to be difficult to get through there. Nathan Hindmarsh deliberately throws the left foot out and cleans up the dregs.
Almost to the 1 hour mark. Clinton again is hit with a hard tackle from Kalis and see you. 7 changes for Wayne Bennett, 9 for Daniel Anderson. And here's Waterhouse with the ball now. Dearest passing away for Lockyer, and Lockyer's kick down to Nigel Vunganar just outside his 20-metre line, puts on some speed and then runs into Danny Badiris, and he's one bloke that is hard to get around. There's Robbie Paul. He's standing and looking as though he's ready to come back into the game, so some of the bad luck that New Zealand had with Nathan Kalis and Robbie Paul is about to turn the full cycle, it looks like. Lulawai, short pass away for Kalis. Sunday, the Dragons and the Roosters at 4 o'clock. That's our Sunday football on 9 at Aussie Stadium. The ball is given back to Pulatua, and now it's Vunganar who ducks under the defence before being tackled by Clinton just inside the Australian 40-metre line. Lulawai for Falmarina, a catch and a bounce and a regather, and then an offload picked up by Vaynicola, but they're losing ground as the ball now goes into touch.
No, he didn't. Didn't play at the ball. Happy with that? He didn't play at the ball over here.
Well, he's not going to change his decision, Sean Hampstead, that's for sure, despite the fact that New Zealand's claim football was played at by Brent Tate. Vaynicola picking up Comes in to make the tackle. Tate, no way he played out the football. Andrew Voss on the sideline. Is any self-belief going out of this New Zealand side with the scoreboard just starting to get away from them?
Well, there's one little problem they do have to contend with going into the final quarter of this match. They've only got 3 interchanges left with the problems they had earlier with Robbie Paul and Nathan Kalis. Now, they've got to make up an 11-point deficit, and they're down on troops. They're going to have to call on every ounce of spirit they can find to win this one. Not out of the question, though.
Gower. This is Woodkey losing the ball under Pulatua's tackle. Went backwards and dived on by Darren Lockyer. Badira to the blind side for Gower. Minicello comes in, but Falmawina's there to shut down the Australian fullback on the 5th tackle. It's gone to that left boot of Lockyer's. It's a high kick down to Vanganar. Oh, he loses it completely. Vainikolo picks it up. Knock on has been ordered. What a night for Nigel Vanganar.
Look, you've got to feel for him. He's only had 1 game back this year in the NRL for Cronulla. He's had a horror night here. He's a great player, Nigel Vanganar. Had many very good seasons with the Canterbury team. Prolific try scorer, but having a pretty rough trot here tonight.
Robbie Paul is about to come back into the game.
There's brave stuff here from Robbie Paul. I'm sure that the decision was probably left to him. And he's decided with under 20 minutes to go, he can come out and contribute and help his side towards an improbable victory, trailing by 11 at the moment. It's a good drop out.
Price carries the football back 38 metres out from the line. De Vere will run away from dummy half. Almost a submissive tackle there offered by De Vere. Now it's gone away for Lockyer. Lockyer, the CU has gone over the top of the shoulder. Brought a groan from the crowd. Hampstead said shoulders. Now it's Badiris. This is Hindmarsh. And they're playing at close quarters there. They're really passing on the line. Here's Berrigan. Australia 21-10. Badiris out, looking, probing. 17 and a half minutes of the test match to go. From Crocker. It's with Gower. He puts in a little kick. It's loose. It's knocked on, I fancy, by Vanganar.
It is.
Compounding his problems.
Look, I don't know if it'd help or not, but if I was Daniel Anderson, I'd be tempted to move Nigel Vanganar into the centres, where he is most comfortable, and maybe drop Clinton Torpey back to fullback. Just something a little bit different. I don't know if that would hurt his confidence. Vanganar is a specialist centre. I'm not quite sure whether that'd be such a problem making a change like that, just to try something a little bit different.
I made the point earlier that it's almost a tragedy to see Vanganar not playing in the centres. One of the best. Gower! He's got rid of the defenders! Well, Craig Gower with brute strength has shed the defence. Joe Nullarbor, I think it was, who had a catch on him. And Gower gets rid of his Panther teammate.
He's a tough customer, isn't he, Craig Gower? Ducks under the tackle of Falmawina. Nullarbor coming across, grapples with him. Suyu is there, but he's not going to stop him. And Craig Gower, that's him all over, isn't he? Just keeps going, does his best.
Yeah.
It's maybe the match winner, Paul.
He has been terrific tonight, Craig Gower. He's been probing like this all night. He's given good service to Lockyer and his outside backs, but when he's taken them on, he's threatened to break the line. On this occasion, he does, and brushes away a couple of pretty ordinary attempts to tackle. And there'll be some ribbing at Penrith training, I'd say, tomorrow morning, when Craig Gower comes up to have a chat to Joe Nullarbor.
De Vere from right in front. Penrith, of course, play the Broncos Sunday. 9 of these players, I think you'll find, are going around in that game as De Vere converts the try. More than that. De Vere converts the try scored by Gower. Timmins is about to come into the game. Matty Johns is with Ruben Wiki.
Rubes, I imagine it's particularly painful for you.
Yeah, for sure, Matty. I'd like to be on the other side of that chalk there, but it's not supposed. It's not meant to happen.
What did Daniel say to the boys at half time?
Just a match with the Aussies, and bombed 2 tries in the first half, and the second half you've bombed a few options there too. So we just got to hang in there.
Now, what's the problem with Robbie Paul? I mean, he got a knock to the head. Is it an ankle problem or something?
I think so, mate, but I think he'll be back and start on the game soon.
Thanks for your time, Rubes. 27-10. Webke grinding out some more meters out to the 30-metre line. 15 minutes of the match remaining, and Webke has lost the ball according to the referee.
Well, in trying to play it, it comes off the leg of Jerry CU. Robbie Paul is out there, of course. They're looking after him. They're playing him out next to the winger in defence and bringing him a little bit closer to the action when they've got the football. He's now first pass to the left-hand side of this scrum. And with 14 minutes to go, they've got to be the next to score and the next to score again, the New Zealanders.
Lulawai works the scrum. And he's got it away to Tarawera, who's tackled 30 metres out from the Australian line. Lulawai at dummy half, off to Robbie Paul. He turns it around for Vainacola. He'll play the ball on the 20-metre line. Latu in 16. Over it goes for Lulawai again. Jerry CU is tackled. Bound for English football next year. Now again for Paul. Here's Pulatura about to play the ball on the 4th tackle. 10 metres out from the line. Paul at dummy half now. Steps off his right foot. Comes back to Vainacolo. And that'll be tackle 5. Paul at dummy half. Oh, it's an awful pass. Lulawai tried to kick it. Brent Tate picked it up. And he's hit jointly by Torpy and CU. Price.
Replacement player.
They lost the football there. Nathan Kalis now gets an offload to Melly, who comes back centre field. Here's a chance.
15 out from the line. That is Fadawira running away from us. Inside the 10-metre line. Vanganao dummy half. Latu. Lulawai. Then to Paul. Long ball for Torpy. Torpy comes to Gidley. And the pass goes astray. The pass was aimed for Vainacola.
Tate might have touched this, Ray. I think he might have gone for an intercept here. No, he's missed it. So an Australian feed.
Luke Bailey about to come in. The footy show on Thursday next. Wayne Bennett. One-on-one with Peter Sterling. That's in the footy show next week at 9:30.
That's talking, Ray. That's not wrestling. Interesting chat with the Australian coach, who was delighted to be back in charge. Tonight it looks as though he might keep his test record intact. 2 from 2 at the moment coming into this game. Well on track to be 3 from 3.
Even price. 9 changes Australia, 10 changes the Kiwis. Waterhouse held by Pulatura and dragged back a few metres with the help of CU. Lockett puts the kick down towards Francis Melly. Comes away from almost back on the 10-metre. Loses the ball. There could be a try coming. De Beer is heading for the corner, and Michael De Beer scores for Australia. Just simply lack of ball security, and Australia were there. They reacted quickly. Francis Melly hit by Hindmarsh.
They'll be very happy with that, Nathan Hindmarsh. He dropped the football at the other end of the field, giving the Kiwis an opportunity. And his strong defence there has forced the ball from the grasp of Francis Melly. Simple task for Michael De Beer to run this one in, and you don't win test matches conceding soft tries. And they've done that tonight, the Kiwis, on a number of occasions, especially second half.
I'm just wondering if that ball actually came off Nathan Hindmarsh and went forward. When it was picked up, it sort of might have come off Hindmarsh's leg, and then Craig Gower off the crossbar can there was definitely in front. But it really doesn't matter at this stage. With 60 metres back up the park, Shane Whippy had just left the field. You'd think it'd be, well, the last time tonight, and I think he has been, well, he's definitely been Australia's best forward, if not their best player. He's just made the hard yards all night, been really strong in defence, led the way, 17 tackles, 14 hit-ups to lead the hit-up department, and he's just been sensational.
De Vere attempting to convert his own try, leaving the boot, coming back but not coming back acutely enough. So it's 31-10, 71 minutes gone in the test match.
Still the field, Kangaroos, 31. One-way test match here at Energy Australia Stadium. Michael Moore, back on the field, he's up to St. John's. He replaces number 11, 85.
Right, fellas, no starts.
Welcome back to Friday night football, the test match. And the short kick-off from Falmer Weiner, and Sonny Bill Williams tried to bat it down. Michael Crocker came up with it for Australia, played back to Michael De Vere. Now it is Waterhouse. And he's met there and put away by Joe Nullavow and also Latu. Twice. Just a couple of paces before passing to Bailey. 11 on his own side of the halfway from Crocker now. Across through Lockyer to Timmins, and Timmins takes them down to halfway. Just inside the western touchline as it comes from Gidley back to Clinton running hard. And then he's hit and put away by Williams again. He's very strong, the young man. Now, Gower's pass might have been a bit suspect. Waterhouse throws it down on the ground. Picked up there by Luke Bailey, but Hampstead has gone back to that incident, and we've got an injured player.
Yes, we've got one of the Penrith back rowers, Nullavow, down injured. So Penrith fans watching might be a little bit concerned. The big match they've got against Brisbane on Sunday. Waterhouse came in, went down, caught Nullavow by accident, I think. He's up and about now, he'll be okay.
Well, he didn't touch that football, Darren Lockyer, but I think that they missed a forward pass. That was a previous ruck with Sonny Bill Williams taking on Joel Clinton. He's
good battle. There's a bit of oomph in that tackle too from Williams.
He's a flavour kid, isn't he?
And he's been good, Clinton, whilst the old bull in Webke's had a big game, so's the young buck in Joel Clinton.
Just on their own 40-metre line. Played over there by Falmer Weiner. Now it's Careless, Nathan, captain of the New Zealand side. They eventually arrived at a captain. Williams. Offload, good. Kindle onto the ball nicely to the 30-metre line. 5 tackles gone. Kiwis on the attack with Lulawai putting the kick in. De Vere gets the bounce that he wanted, and Fadawira.
Well, this is an interesting one, Ray, because I think that Michael De Vere actually came up with a voluntary tackle here.
That's what it looks like, doesn't it?
And now New Zealand, they put Michael De Vere into the in goal after making the tackle. But just have a look, does he come up and complete in this tackle? No, he doesn't. That's a penalty against the Australians.
On the 30-metre line. Vidiris to the blind side. Berrigan combining with De Vere. De Vere sprints down the left side. The New Zealand 40-metre line. Now it's Gower. Lockyer. Timmins out wide. Tapping through and tackled. 40 metres out from the line. There's a read out on Luke Bailey. And Gower puts it down. Latu. Vidiris snapping the legs from underneath him. Williams able to offload. Paul, short ball. Vaynerchuk straight back through the middle. Gidley is there with Madeira. All changes have been made. Pulatua. 31 to 10. 5 minutes of the test match to go. Lulua back, finds a second man runner. And Williams. He will play it back to the youngster in 7. 19 is Kidwell. Puts a kick in. Looking for Francis Melly. Melly comes fast. Puts a kick in, but it goes over the sideline. In comparison with Vaynerchuk, he's had a quiet night, really, Francis Melly. This kick from Kidwell. De Vere was a little bit lethargic. Melly came from behind him, ran around him. In a more urgent situation, it could have been described as poor play by De Vere. 21,537 here at Newcastle's home ground. Sunday, as I mentioned earlier, Roosters, Dragons, they're expecting 30,000 there on Sunday for that match. It's Tate comes across and links up with his captain. Now it's with Gidley. Gidley down to the 30-metre line. Can't unload. 4 o'clock, you'll see that telecast on the 9 network. Here's Crocker now.
That'll be a great clash, that one, and I guess all NRL coaches now just having a look at their rep players and seeing in their own mind who might back up and who probably won't. You would imagine Kalis would be unavailable for the 5:30 game for Parramatta tomorrow afternoon as Waterhouse nearly goes through. Hindmarsh, little doubt.
Here's Tate again. Gets a kick in. The Australian outside backs are coming down on Vanganarp. But Nigel this time is able to survive. Sinton and De Vere doing the defensive work down there. Torpy. Vaynerchuk. Now they try to spread the ball off their own goal mouths. Robbie Paul. Leslie Vaynerchuk. Some of the faces of the New Zealanders off the bench. Jason Kalis and Joe Nalaval. Fourth tackle. Williams. Hindmarsh, Price and Webb back on the Australian benches, keeping in mind that all the changes have been made. What you see is what you get from here on in. Minicello. And he dances away. Latu's made the tackle with some help from Kalis. Minicello forced to play the ball. Lockyer shows it, dummies, goes up the middle, finds a runner linking up. It's young Berrigan, Sean Berrigan. He fends away. He passes to Tate, and Tate is tackled brilliantly by Vaynerchuk. Still on for Australia. Minicello goes back to the middle. Gidley gives it to the captain. Lockyer's hit the upright.
We'll have a look.
Wants to have a look at it.
He may be short here because of the post.
Well, he's hit him real hard as well. I think he'll be all right, but
not at the base of the post. No.
he has to ground the ball. He can't ground it at the base of the pads. I think was there a rule 100 years ago? No, there wasn't.
No, he's got to find the line.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Well, lucky for the pads. The Bundy Rum pads there, the dry and lime, they've saved him.
Does he make the line?
I think he's short, Ray, and that's why we have the pads as thick as they are. So Mel Meninga was wishing that they were in his day.
He might need a few dry and limes in a couple of hours to get over that one.
And a tackle from Leslie Vaynerchuk again helped Nigel Vanganarp, who came up with an awful miss. Play the ball. It's not over yet with 2:15 to go.
Video referee tonight is Tim Mander.
Yeah, Darren Lockyer, you've got to play it over here. No, he's got to play it over here. He's short of the line. Right, wait till I play time back on. Wait till I play, come up.
The Australians thought that new rule applied. But in fact, he was grounded short of the try line. Here's Gower. The kick is through there for Michael Crocker. Ball is loose, but it's been forced eventually by the New Zealanders by Francis Melly.
Yeah, it's been knocked on and forced, and it'll be a goal line dropout. So the Australians a 21-point lead, just looking to capitalise and...
Gone out on the ball.
That's torture.
Well, they're going to take the tap. Buderis sending Luke Bailey towards them. And young Williams is there to bring him down. Got a fabulous match, the Canterbury utility player. Gower back for Clinton. Loses the ball over the line.
Stripping.
And it's a penalty for stripping.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Buderis anxious to take another tap penalty.
Now, mate, come on. What are you doing?
A little bit of an eruption in back play, including... Here's Buderis, tries to take the tap and swivel through. Sonny Bill Williams and Luke Bailey having a little bit of a disagreement in back play. Now from Crocker, finding Gower. Gower gives it back to Timmins. Timmins then for Bailey. Bailey wrestled down. The youngster Williams staying with him, shadowing him. Lockett gets it away for Sean Berrigan. Berrigan's a couple of metres out from the line. Buderis, Lockett, long ball, Gower. Gower holding it back, then giving it to Minicello. There by the New Zealanders though. Gower again, Lockyer again, and here's the ball. That's the ball they were looking for. Michael Crocker. Michael Crocker right on full time.
Well, how does he get through here? There's a stack of New Zealand defenders. Darren Lockyer straightens. David Kibble overruns it. Tony Pulatua doesn't come across. Only seconds to go. It wasn't important enough to close up the hole. And Michael Crocker. He's worked hard as he always does. And again, Darren Lockyer throwing the final pass to an Australian try.
Yeah, it's been a dominant performance tonight by the Aussies, as everyone expected. And I feel for the Kiwis. You know, they tried pretty hard all night. Those two injuries early in the match didn't help them. Forced to make probably a fraction too many interchanges early. And they've tried hard, but the class of Australia has shone through.
De Vere converting the final try of the night, scored by Michael Crocker. And Australia, for the record, runs out a 27-point victor, 37-2.